Okay, go. So tonight, what I'm going to talk about is the fact how you can turbocharge your career. The biggest mistake people make when they try and work on their career is they take it too personally. What we're going to talk about tonight is actually turning your career into a business as opposed to a personal venture. There's 4 aspects to a business. You've got to have a product, you've got to be able to market it, you've got to be able to sell it, and ultimately you've got to work out how hard you want to work and how much you want to sell it for. We're going to focus on the first 3 things. The biggest mistake when people think about their job is the fact that when they think about their skills, they think about things that are far too subjective. This top one here is a great example about people that actually say nothing on their CVs. We focus too much on communication skills, ability to work under pressure, to be a team player but work equally well individually. What we really want to do is focus on specific achievements, because it's specific achievements that people are actually going to want you to do when they hire you to do a job. So what you've got to do first is define the science of what you do. And only once you define the science do you actually want to incorporate the art. When you take the art of what you do and you add it to the science, it becomes a whole. And that's what people buy when they buy you and they buy your product. What we then do is we have to define that. This is a 3-step exercise to help you. The first thing you need to do is take something you're good at and think of 3 specific achievements you've got. What you then do is then start adding the art to it. And that's where you use something called the STAR technique. You can find it on Google. And you've got to think about, what is the situation I had? What was the problem? What did I actually do to solve the problem? And this is where your team building and influencing comes in. And what was actually the result? What you're building here is a product that you can promote. All of you have cynical friends. When you do this, you write it down. The role of your cynical friend is to help you turn it from words on paper into words that come out of your mouth. And that way you get better at promoting yourself. The document that you use to promote yourself is your CV. And your CV is you. If your CV is boring, you're boring. Okay? If it rambles, you ramble. If your picture's rubbish, you obviously look rubbish. It's everything to you. It's the hook that grabs people's attention. Most people only give your CV 30 seconds before they decide to give it 2 or 3 minutes more. It also demonstrates the relevance. When you apply for a job, if your CV doesn't demonstrate relevance, they don't care. And lastly, it's the basis for questioning. So what I'd encourage you to do is, don't you review your CV, give your CV to someone else and get them to ask themselves these questions, because they're the ones that have got to approach it objectively. Unfortunately, when it comes to ourselves, we're not very objective. Social media nowadays is an integral part of your job search. If what you post on Twitter doesn't match what you say on your CV, it doesn't work. 98% of executives now look you up on social media to check whether you are consistent with what you do. For the blokes in the room, forget the budgie smugglers on your LinkedIn photo, okay? When it comes to finding jobs, don't worry about the job boards. Only about 5% of jobs actually end up on job boards. What you've got to do is focus on the intangible job market. And that's firstly leveraging agencies. Now, agencies aren't the best people in the world and probably a necessary evil for many of you. What you've got to remember, though, is they are the eyes and ears in your market. And what you've got to use them as the market research for your business. Meet them where you can, speak to them where you can, and you will find good ones that will be able to help you. Lastly, when you're networking, use your friends. All your friends have companies that have internal job boards. Most of your friends will get paid money by their employers if they get you a job. Focus on asking them to look out for you, and that way you get in front of everyone else that's looking for that job. Lastly, when you're preparing for an interview, most people write down why I'm going to get the job. Employers write the same list, but what they do is they write a list of why they're not going to give you the job. What you've got to do is write that list yourself, prepare the answers to those objections, and proactively bring them up in an interview. If you bring them up, you take control of the situation, and you make sure you give your maximum effort. Most people won't ask you to prove why they're not going to hire you. They'll just be nice. When it comes to actually doing the interview, there's one thing you've got to remember, and that's first impressions. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, it's going to turn into a physical activity. If everyone can hold up their right hand. Okay? Now put it under your armpit. Okay? Just give it a bit of a shake and just get it nice and warm. Okay? Now turn to your next person next to you and give them the limpest handshake you can give. Okay? Just give them a nice limp handshake. Okay? If that's what people get when they first meet you, you're not going to get the job. Okay? There's a lot of techie people in the room, and I know email's brilliant, but last time I checked, you can't email a handshake, okay? And at the end of the day, getting a job is about a person working for a person, not a keyboard working for a business, okay? So all I'd say is just have a great evening, good luck with your career, and just go out there and sell, sell, sell. Thank you very much.